refused her SEAL training application until she hit 20 consecutive bullseyes. In the shadows of Prejudice, a female soldier of color touches the eagle tattoo on her back. Could a scar from the past help her land 20 perfect shots, changing U.S. military history? A secret will be revealed. Sergeant Maya Johnson, a 32-year-old woman of color, had always moved through life with the quiet discipline of someone who knew the weight of unspoken barriers. Stationed at Camp Vanguard, a sprawling base in the Pacific Northwest, where America's finest special operations forces honed their skills, Maya served as a marksmanship instructor. Her days were a rhythm of precision, waking before dawn to calibrate rifles, guiding young soldiers through the art of steady breathing and unyielding focus. With the Barrett M82 sniper rifle in her hands, she was unmatched, an expert who could thread a bullet through the eye of a storm at distances that tested human limits. But beneath her calm exterior lay a deep wound. 3 times she had applied for SEAL training, and 3 times she had been rejected. The letters were cold, bureaucratic echoes of doubt. Female candidates do not meet the physiological standards for elite operations. It wasn't just the words, it was the subtle prejudices woven into her daily life. White teammates would jest in the mess hall, their voices laced with mockery. Women of color are only good for logistics, right, Johnson? Leave the real fighting to us. Maya would smile thinly, her response a silent vow to prove them wrong. But inside, the sting accumulated like layers of frost on a winter morning. Her resolve drew from a legacy etched into her skin. As a child, Maya had watched her father, a Battalion veteran of color, battle his own demons. He had served with distinction in the segregated units, facing enemy fire abroad and discrimination at home. "They clipped our wings, but we soared anyway," he'd say, his voice gravely with the wisdom of hard-won battles. Before he passed, he inked an eagle tattoo on her back, a symbol of freedom and strength, hiding a scar from a childhood accident that mirrored his own unseen wounds. "Soar high despite headwinds," he whispered as his final vow. Like so many Americans of color before her, Maya dreamed of fairness, of a military where merit eclipsed melanin and gender. Discipline, she learned, was like the eagle, patient, unyielding, turning adversity into flight. Yet, in the quiet routines of Camp Vanguard, Maya wondered if her dreams would ever take wing. The base buzzed with the promise of excellence, but for her, it felt like a cage gilded with stars and stripes. She poured her heart into training others, teaching them that true skill came from inner strength, not outward approval. Little did she know, the lessons of her father's legacy were about to be tested in ways she could scarcely imagine. But a peaceful morning is about to shatter. The peaceful morning at Camp Vanguard shattered like fragile glass under the weight of chaos. Sirens wailed across the base, transforming the training grounds into a battlefield in an instant. Armed insurgents, 25 in number, intelligence would later reveal, had infiltrated under the guise of civilian contractors, their movements precise and deadly. They stormed the Special Operations Complex, guns blazing, targeting elite personnel and visiting NATO officials gathered for a joint exercise. The terrorist storm hit like ancient prejudices, sudden and unrelenting, uprooting the foundations of security that Maya had come to rely on. Amid the confusion, Maya's radio crackled to life. "Johnson, report to the command post immediately," barked Colonel Ramirez, his voice edged with urgency. "We need a sniper. Every qualified marksman is down or deployed. No matter who you are, get here now." The words hung in the air, a bitter irony after her rejections. They needed her now, when the barriers of bias had crumbled under crisis. But as Maya grabbed her gear and sprinted toward the fray, a strange shadow caught her eye, a figure moving oddly among the shadows near the perimeter fence, too deliberate to be a panicked soldier. Was it one of them? Or something worse, lurking from within? Gunfire echoed, and Maya's heart clenched as she witnessed the horror. Sergeant Ellis. No, wait, a young teammate of color, Private Harlan, cut down while shielding a wounded comrade. Harlan, like her, had faced the quiet slights of a system that questioned their place. His sacrifice fueled a burning outrage in her chest, a reminder of the stakes, not just lives, but the very ideals of equality her father had fought for. The eagle on her back seemed to pulse, urging her forward despite the fear gnawing at her edges. External threats loomed large. enemies armed with military-grade weapons advancing systematically toward the command bunker. Maya's skills were her only weapon, but the call demanded more, courage to confront the storm head-on. Like her father's tales of Warrrior II, where outnumbered heroes turned the tide, this was her moment to rise. Will she dare to step in? The question echoed in Maya's mind like a distant thunder, pulling her back from the edge of action. As gunfire rattled the base and smoke curled into the sky, she froze at the command post door, her hand trembling on the knob. "I'm not a SEAL," she whispered to herself, the words a bitter echo of those rejection letters. "Prejudice has already won. Why fight a battle that's rigged against me?" The external chaos paled against her inner turmoil, the years of subtle slights, the institutional walls that had kept her grounded while others soared. In that moment, the call felt like a cruel joke, summoning her skills only when desperation stripped away the biases. A flash of reflection transported her to childhood evenings with her father, his stories of Warrrior II heroism amid segregation filling the room like a warm hearth. "They told us we couldn't fly, but we did," he'd say, tracing the eagle tattoo he'd later gift her. Will the past repeat itself? Would she, like him, be called to serve only to be discarded? The doubt gnawed deeper, threatening to anchor her in place. Then, her personal radio buzzed, not from command, but a civilian line. It was her mother, her voice steady amid the storm. "Maya, I saw the news. Remember your father's eagle. It's not just ink. It's a reminder to rise above the winds." The call was a twist of fate, gradually unveiling the mystery of the tattoo. Not merely a symbol, but a beacon from her forebears, whispering that resilience was woven into her blood. Like American forebears who rose against impossible odds, from the Tuskegee Airmen to the women of the 688th Battalion, Maya felt a spark. Prejudice might have clipped wings before, but perhaps this was her chance to break free. Yet hesitation lingered. A heavy chain. She wasn't ready, or was she? But an old mentor will change things. The chain of hesitation snapped as Maya pushed through the command post door, her breath steadying like the eagle finding its thermal. There, amid tactical maps flickering under emergency lights, stood Sergeant Major Ellis, a man of color, weathered by decades of service, and her father's closest friend from the old days. His eyes, sharp as a hawk's, met hers with unwavering trust. "Maya, I knew you'd come," he said, his voice a gravely anchor in the storm. "Your father would be proud. He always said you had the eagle's eye." Ellis, who had shared foxholes with her dad in forgotten campaigns, handed her the Barrett M82A1, a beast of a rifle, 50 caliber precision wrapped in steel. "This isn't just a weapon, it's an extension of will," he explained, his tone educational, yet reassuring. "Account for the wind, 12-mile-per-hour gusts like life's challenges, pushing you off course if you don't adjust. Elevation, atmospheric pressure, target movement, all variables you conquer with focus." Maya nodded, the lesson echoing her training, but Ellis's words carried the weight of shared history, making the technique feel like a rite of passage. Beside him was Lieutenant Kim, a sharp-eyed ally of Asian descent, poring over a tablet of real-time intel. "We've got positions mapped, ranges from 800 to 1,500 yards, Kim said briskly. "But the insurgents are adaptive. Winds shifting." Her support was crisp, a bridge of data in the chaos bolstering Maya's resolve. Yet Ellis leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Something's off, Maya. That shadow you saw? I suspect an insider, someone feeding them intel." He hid the full suspicion, his eyes darting to avoid raising alarms, a misdirection that planted seeds of doubt without panic. The eagle motif resurfaced in her mind, her father's symbol, now a guiding force through Ellis's faith. With the Barrett slung over her shoulder and allies at her side, Maya felt the pull of destiny. The tattoo warmed against her skin, a reminder to soar. Step through the threshold, danger awaits. With Ellis's words echoing like a paternal echo and Kim's intel tablet in hand, Maya ascended the range tower's stairs, each step a deliberate crossing into the unknown. The structure loomed high above Camp Vanguard, offering a panoramic view of the besieged base, smoke rising from distant skirmishes, shadows darting like phantoms in the fading light. Crossing the threshold felt like an eagle spreading wings, lifting from the safety of the nest into turbulent skies. The tattoo on her back tingled as she touched it, drawing strength from her father's vow, a silent affirmation that she belonged here. Barriers be damned. Positioning herself at the shooting platform, Maya adjusted the Barrett's bipod, her fingers steady despite the adrenaline surge. The first target appeared on Kim's feed, an insurgent on a rooftop, 847 yards out, wind-whispering challenges at 12 miles per hour. "Engage when ready," Ellis radioed, his trust a lifeline. Maya calculated, elevation, drift, the subtle pull of gravity, her breath syncing with the rifle's rhythm. She exhaled, squeezed the trigger. The .50 caliber round thundered forth, but a slight miss. The bullet grazed the edge, alerting the enemy without neutralizing. Realistic, humbling. It wasn't perfection from the start, but a reminder that even eagles falter before soaring. "Adjust and fire again," Kim urged, her voice calm amid the static. But then the twist struck. Electronics jammed, the tablet flickering to black, radar feeds dissolving into noise. "They're using countermeasures, EMP bursts or something sophisticated," Ellis growled over the radio. Unexpected, it forced me to rely on raw instinct, old-school calculations scrawled on a notepad, wind speed from fluttering flags, ranges estimated by eye. The enemies weren't just brute force, they were cunning, perhaps aided by that hidden insider Ellis suspected. Touching the eagle tattoo once more, Maya recalibrated, her resolve hardening like forged steel. This was no longer training, it was the forge of her transformation. The second shot connected, clean, precise, dropping the target. Lives saved, but the battle raged on. Like her American forebears who crossed oceans and prejudices to claim victory, Maya had stepped fully into the fray. The real tests begin. With the threshold crossed and the first insurgent down, Maya settled into the rhythm of the tower, the Barrett her steadfast companion. But this was no solitary vigil. Allies flanked her in spirit and signal. Lieutenant Kim's voice crackled over the secure line, feeding scraps of intel through the jammed haze. "Target Cluster 1 inbound. Rooftop positions, 600 to 900 yards. Winds picking up. Calculate accordingly." Ellis chimed in from the command post. "You've got this, Maya. Like your father said, soar through the headwinds." The eagle motif pulsed in her veins, a loop of legacy urging her onward. The shooting sequence unfolded in calculated clusters, each a mini-trial honing her edge. First cluster, wind calculations, 3 targets perched like vultures on administrative buildings. Maya factored the gusts, 12 miles per hour crosswinds like life's unpredictable twists, demanding adjustments for drift and drop. "Shot 1, she murmured, exhaling as the round flew true, dropping the lead insurgent. But the second nearly missed. A knot of tension as the bullet skimmed cover, the enemy ducking just in time. Heart pounding, she recalibrated, the mini-climax resolving with a precise hit on the third. 3 down, Kim confirmed. 20 shots, how many left? Allies proved invaluable. Kim's intel pinpointed vulnerabilities, while Ellis's encouragement warded off doubt. Yet enemies loomed larger, a dangerous leader among the insurgents, barking orders with military precision, his scoped rifle sweeping for counter-snipers. Hayes, the suspicious teammate from her unit, radioed in sporadically. "Johnson, you sure about those calcs? Don't mess this up for us real operators." His tone dripped with racial jealousy, a subtle outrage that stung like salt in old wounds, implying her color and gender made her a liability. Maya sensed something off, his updates oddly timed, hinting at insider betrayal. Was he the shadow? The twist simmered, fueling her focus. Second cluster, moving targets, 4 insurgents weaving through the logistics yard, 1,000 yards out. Tactics here were straightforward, easy to grasp like a veteran's yarn. Lead the target, account for speed. 8 miles per hour sprint meant aiming ahead by seconds. Anticipate, don't chase, Maya thought, echoing basic marksmanship. The first 2 fell seamlessly, but the third, a near miss as the leader dodged, firing back and grazing the tower. Mini-climax peaked in adrenaline. Maya steadied, invoking the eagle's keen sight, and neutralized him. 7 down total, Ellis reported. 20 shots, how many left? Hayes's voice cut in sharper. "Lucky shots, Johnson. Women like you don't belong in the fire." The outrage boiled, racial undertones masking deeper envy, but Maya channeled it, her resilience a shield forged from forebears' struggles. Final cluster for the first 10, a mix of concealed positions, 3 more at extreme edges. Kim relayed, "Partial cover, wait for exposure." The enemy leader's deputies hunkered down, their tactics mirroring elite training, mutual fire support, minimizing risks. Maya outmaneuvered with patience, like min replies in a chess game, Predict, position, strike. One shot clipped cover, a tense knot unraveling as she adjusted for deteriorating light. Hits landed surgically, saving pinned-down comrades below. 10 down, Kim affirmed, her voice a beacon. 20 shots. How many left? Enemies pressed closer, the leader's shadow growing. Hayes' suspicions, or was it guilt, thickening the air. Allies held firm, but the tests revealed cracks. Betrayals whisper amid the gunfire. The deepest cave calls. As the echo of her 10th shot faded, Maya leaned against the tower's cold metal, exhaustion seeping into her bones like winter rain. 10 down, but the insurgents pressed onward, their shadows converging on the NATO bunker, a fortified heart of the base where senior officials huddled, their strategic sessions now a desperate stand. The enemies moved with chilling efficiency, 15 remaining, armed to the teeth and closing in on routes that trapped American forces in kill zones. The deep cave that metonymy for internal prejudice yawned wider. Not just the physical advance of foes, but the gnawing doubt within Maya, mirroring the biases that had long confined her spirit. A graze from an enemy round had wounded her shoulder, a sharp burn that blurred her vision and slowed her calculations. Blood soaked her sleeve, each breath a labored reminder of human limits. "Maya, you're fading. Hold on," Kim radioed, her allies' concern cutting through the static. Ellis added, "Push through, like your old man did in the trenches." But the pain amplified the test's toll, wind shifting unpredictably, light dimming to twilight hues, her hands trembling on the Barrett. 20 shots, how many left? The loop reverberated, a mantra against despair. In this approach to the inmost cave, the twist unveiled itself like a long-buried artifact. Touching the eagle tattoo for solace, Maya recalled her mother's call earlier, words that now unlocked a deeper secret. Her father hadn't just inked a symbol, it was a code from World War II, etched with coordinates and ciphers from his service in the 1688th Central Postal Directory Battalion, the all-black, all-female unit that cracked enemy communications through sheer grit amid segregation. They hid messages in plain sight, he'd confided once, the eagle representing their covert flights of information across war-torn Europe. Unexpected, this historical link surged through her. Her scar beneath the tattoo, from a childhood fall during one of his stories, now symbolized unbroken legacy. Like those women who battled prejudice to deliver victory's mail, Maya realized her fight transcended gender and color. It was a continuum of American resilience, where internal caves of doubt became chambers of strength. Enemies neared the bunker, their leader's voice barking over captured radios, a dangerous phantom drawing closer. Hayes' suspicious transmissions grew erratic. "Johnson, they're flanking east, wait no west." His racial jealousy, now laced with guilt's edge, hinted at betrayal's core. Outrage simmered in Maya's chest. How deep did the prejudice run, even among allies? Wounded and weary, she adjusted the scope, the cave's darkness pressing in. Yet the tattoo's secret ignited a fire. She would not falter here. The life-or-death moment arrives. Exhaustion clawed at Maya like a relentless foe, her wounded shoulder throbbing in time with her heartbeat, but the cave's depths demanded everything she had left. 10 insurgents down, 10 more to go. The final sequence, a crucible of will. Grouped into emotional clusters, each shot was no longer mere mechanics. It was a symphony of heritage, pain, and defiance. The eagle tattoo burned against her skin, its woolly hue code a silent ally, reminding her that forebears had faced darker abysses and emerged victorious. First cluster. Elevated positions, emotions raw as regret and resolve intertwined. Targets 11 through 13 perched on high ground near the bunker, ranges pushing 1,200 yards, wind howling like echoes of prejudice. Maya sighted the first, a sniper mirroring her own perch. "For Harlan," she whispered, honoring the fallen teammate. Shot fired, hit. The insurgent crumpled. But the second evoked outrage. Hayes' voice intruded over the radio. "Johnson, you're slowing us down. Real SEALs wouldn't bleed like that." His racial jealousy boiled over, a betrayal's sting sharper than her wound. Was he the insider sabotaging from within? The confrontation loomed, but Maya focused. Shot fired, hit. The third, partially concealed, tested her limits. Emotion surged, fear of failure, anger at systemic chains. Shot fired, hit. 20 shots, how many left? The repetitive rhythm built like a drumbeat of destiny. Allies rallied. Kim's intel pierced the jam. Adjust for downward angle. They're dropping smoke. Ellis encouraged, You're the eagle now, Maya, wings wide. But enemies adapted, their leader orchestrating from shadows, his tactics a mirror of elite training, perhaps fed by Hayes's leaks. The outrage peaked as Hayes radioed again. "You don't deserve this rifle, Johnson. Hand it over, I'll finish it." His words, laced with envy over her Damao heritage rising above his privilege, ignited a firestorm within her. Second cluster. Moving threats, emotions shifting to forgiveness's fragile edge. Targets 14 through 17 darted across open ground, 1,300 yards out, using cover like ghosts in the dusk. Maya tracked the first, her vision blurring from blood loss. Shot fired. Hit, but Hayes's interference escalated. He appeared on the tower stairs, gun drawn, his face twisted in confession. "I leaked the shifts. Thought you'd fail, prove women like you don't belong." The twist unraveled. Racial jealousy had turned him traitor, but regret flickered in his eyes, a human crack in the armor of bias. Outrage gave way to confrontation. "Why, Hayes, we're on the same side," he stammered. "I was wrong. Your shots, they're legendary." Maya, channeling her father's mercy amid Wawatu's divides, forgave. "Help me end this. Prove we're better together." Emotions churned, betrayals wound deep, but conviction stronger. Shot fired. Hit. The next two fell in rapid succession. Hayes spotting for her now. Shot fired. Hit. Shot fired. Hit. 20 shots, how many left? The explosive climax crested in the final cluster. Ultimate precision under pressure. Targets 18 through 20. The leader and his guards at maximum range, 1,356 yards, light failing. Emotions peaked, triumph laced with vulnerability. The leader exposed himself, taunting over open channels. Maya, with Hayes's regretful aid on wind reeds, aligned the crosshairs. Shot fired. Hit. The guards retaliated, bullets whizzing past. Hayes shielded her. "Take the shot, I've got you." Forgiveness bloomed into alliance. Shot fired. Hit. The leader, the heart of the threat, moved erratically. Maya exhaled, the eagle's code guiding her steady hand. Shot fired. Hit. All threats neutralized, cheers erupted below. Hayes, tears in his eyes, helped with that final shot, a symbol of redemption. Satisfaction washed over the outrage, a sweet resolution forged in fire. 20 shots, 0 misses, mission accomplished. Victory, but the journey isn't over. In the silence that followed the final shot, Camp Vanguard seemed to exhale, the chaos yielding to a fragile peace. Maya lowered the Barrett, her body aching from wounds and weariness, but her spirit alight with the weight of what she'd achieved. Cheers rose from below. American soldiers and NATO officials emerging from bunkers, their faces etched with gratitude. She had saved over 300 lives, dismantling a terrorist assault that could have shattered international alliances and military morale. The data scrolled in. 20 consecutive bullseyes at extreme ranges, 0 misses, a feat that bordered on the legendary, studied later by experts as a masterclass in precision under pressure. Recognition came swiftly, like a long-withheld dawn. Colonel Ramirez approached the tower first, his grim expression softening to awe. "Johnson, you've seized the sword today, turned the tide single-handedly." But it was the human element that touched her deepest. Teammates, once distant or doubtful, gathered below. Hayes, his face streaked with remorse, was the first to climb up. "Maya, I was blind. Your courage, it shamed me into seeing." He extended a hand, and as she clasped it, the embrace spread, soldiers of all backgrounds hugging her, their prejudices melting in the forge of shared survival. Kim nodded proudly. "You didn't just save us. You united us." Even the once suspicious voices now hailed her as hero, a testament to how one person's excellence could bridge divides. Then, the pinnacle. A secure video link crackled to life from the Pentagon. Admiral Whitaker, commander of Naval Special Warfare, appeared on screen, his uniform starched with authority. "Sergeant Johnson, I've reviewed the engagement logs. 20 perfect shots under impossible conditions. Capabilities that eclipse our top SEAL snipers." His voice carried the gravity of history. "You've applied for SEAL training 3 times, rejected each for reasons that now seem archaic. Today, I'm inviting you personally. Report for evaluation. You've earned the trident and more. You've proven that true warriors transcend barriers of color or gender." Maya accepted with quiet grace. "Sir, I serve for those who came before and those who will follow." Like America's legacy, she had soared high, not despite her wounds but through them, wielding the sword of perseverance to carve a path for others. The reward wasn't just invitation, it was validation, a beacon for every overlooked soul dreaming of flight. The reward's glow lingered, but the journey back to normalcy was fraught with thorns. Hours after the final shot, Maya found herself in a secure briefing room at Camp Vanguard, connected via video to the Pentagon. Analysts pored over her engagement data. 20 bullseyes, lives preserved, a terrorist plot unraveled. Sergeant Johnson, Admiral Whitaker intoned, your performance mandates policy review. Gender and racial barriers in special ops will be reevaluated. The report praised her as a catalyst for change, but public challenges loomed like gathering clouds. Media leaks sparked debates. Skeptics questioned if a woman of color had truly excelled or if standards were bent. Online forums buzzed with doubt, Hollywood heroism or hype, echoing the prejudices she'd shattered. Hayes, now an advocate, defended her in interviews. I saw it. She earned every inch. Yet the scrutiny tested her, a road back paved with whispers that threatened to undermine her triumph. Amid the tumult, a twist emerged. Intelligence flagged a remaining enemy, the leader's lieutenant, fleeing through the eastern perimeter, 1,200 yards distant. Wounded but vigilant, Maya returned to the tower, Barrett in hand. One last shadow, Ellis radioed, his voice steady. Public eyes watched via base cams, challenges amplifying the pressure. She touched the eagle tattoo, its code a whisper of ancestral strength. Wind whipped, light scarce, but she calculated lid time drift the pull of legacy. From afar, the final shot soared, neutralizing the threat with surgical grace. Cheers renewed, but this closure was personal. Proof that victory extended beyond the battlefield. The road back revealed truths. Change stirred resistance, but perseverance paved the way. Like America's enduring spirit, Maya pressed on, her scars badges of honor. The true resurrection is. 6 months later, the resurrection unfolded not in gunfire's echo, but in the solemn halls of Naval Special Warfare Command. Maya Johnson stood tall, graduating SEAL training first in her class, the trident pinned to her chest, a symbol once deemed unattainable for someone like her. The ceremony buzzed with historic weight. Policy changes rippled outward, physical standards revised to prioritize functional capability over outdated biases, opening doors for women and people of color across elite units. The Pentagon's report from that fateful day at Camp Vanguard had catalyzed it all. Her 20 bullseyes, a irrefutable proof that prejudice crumbled under performance's glare. Admiral Whitaker shook her hand. You've resurrected the true spirit of our forces, merit without margins. But the twist came in quiet revelation. Addressing her fellow graduates, Maya bared her shoulder, revealing the eagle tattoo to future generations. This isn't just ink, she said, her voice steady with inspiration. It's a code from Mo II, etched by my father from the 6888th Battalion, black women who defied segregation to deliver victory's secrets. It hides my scars as it hid theirs, turning wounds into wings. The room fell silent, then erupted in applause, the unexpected historical link binding past struggles to present triumphs. Hayes, now reformed and present, nodded in respect. You taught us all to soar. This comprehensive victory over prejudice was more than personal. It was a resurrection of ideals. Equality forged in fire, resilience as America's enduring flame. Like forebears who rose from ashes of discrimination, Maya embodied the nation's promise. Capability knows no color, courage, no gender. Her story, shared in training manuals and whispers among recruits, ignited hope for those still climbing. With the trident earned and policies reshaped, Maya Johnson returned to the world not as a solitary hero, but as a bearer of elixir. A potent brew of inspiration drawn from her ordeal. Years on, she stood before wide-eyed recruits at Camp Vanguard, now a training hub transformed by her legacy. As a SEAL instructor, Maya taught the next generation, her lessons extending beyond marksmanship to the heart of resilience. Precision isn't just in the shot, she'd say, demonstrating the Barrett's nuances with steady hands. It's in rising when the world pushes you down. Her classes wove tactics with tales, wind calculations as metaphors for life's gusts, extreme ranges as symbols of overcoming institutional barriers. Young soldiers, diverse in hue and heritage, hung on her words, seeing in her the proof that dreams deferred could still take flight. The legacy message she imparted was profound, elixir for society and souls alike. America's strength lies in its people, Maya would reflect, touching the eagle tattoo now a badge of honor. We soar not by privilege but by will, forging unity from division, like my forebears in World War II who coded victory amid shadows of hate. Her story became a case study in military academies, inspiring reforms that prioritized merit over myth, ensuring the most capable served regardless of gender or color. Hayes, redeemed and risen in rank, often joined her sessions. She showed me prejudice blinds, excellence enlightens. Through books, talks, and quiet mentorship, Maya passed the elixir. Hope for those facing their own caves, a reminder that individual triumphs ripple into national renewal. In quieter moments, Maya visited her mother's home, sharing stories with nieces and nephews, the tattoo's secret code a family heirloom. Carry this forward, she'd urge, her voice warm with the wisdom of scars turned to strength. The elixir returned was timeless. Capability and courage have no bounds, a truth etched in America's evolving narrative. The eagle soars high not by wings, but by American will. If this story touches you, share it to honor heroes. Subscribe to discover more American legacies.